Hello and welcome back to Infinite Volume. It has been a minute, but it's okay because it is now part 2 of Mob Psycho. Are you guys excited to continue
Yes.
talking about one of our
Ye
favorites?
yeah.
I
So,
don't know.
Interesting.
Logan seems kind of hesitant.
Um, we are
that was
going to we're gonna skip over small talk today. Um, not much to say. It's only been about a week since the last part. Uh, but there are a couple topics I want to hit prior. So, out of curiosity, I know we aren't finished talking about it yet. Well, but me and Jay on the side of the podcast talked about where we would place Mob in terms of the most are the best stories we've read so far for the podcast. Log, what's your take on it?
I would say that well, obviously, you kinda have to look at things in their own light. So, this isn't to say that it's better than any of the others,
Just like
but
it's definitely a
because
personal enjoyment thing.
yeah, because Monster was a good thriller and Silent Voice is a good, like, heartfelt, emotional story, and Mob is a good slice of life with emotions and comedy. So, they all fill their different niches, but I would say my order of them so far would be oh, man.
It's hard, right? Awashi's
Yeah,
definitely 4 though. That one's easy.
Awashi's 4 for by
Yeah.
far.
That I'm pretty sure we all put Awashi down there.
Yeah.
Wait, what didn't we read 5?
Nope,
No.
Oh, okay.
only 4 right now.
Then oh, yeah, that's right, sorry. I was thinking
Yeah.
part 2 of this was technically
The
our
5th
5th,
episode.
but,
Yep.
yeah, Awashi's 4 by far. And then I think I'd have to go Silent Voice, Mob well, I should say count going up from the bottom, so I'll go down from the top. Monster, Mob, Silent Voice, and Awashi.
Monster Mob out of Silent Voice. Okay, cool. I placed A Silent Voice as number 1 because that one hit
That's
me
what I
very,
did
very
too.
hard. But, I said I think I put Mob in 3rd and Monster in 2nd, but honestly, those 2 are kinda interchangeable because 'cause they're both really, really good. I think if this was my first experience with Mob, it might even take 2nd or 3rd or 1st rather, but since this is my 2nd time going through it, Monster as an experience reading it for the podcast and going through that story for the first time had a bigger impact on me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Especially
thought about it oh,
I was just gonna say, like, the manga isn't really that much different from the anime for Mob. Um, which isn't a bad thing at all, but like I I didn't have any major takeaways from this read through than I did watching it the first time.
I feel a little differently. Well, I was looking at my ranking as what I was the most interested in while I was reading it.
Mhm.
Basically, what I read the quickest almost, like what hooked me the most. Monster read that shit in literally like 2.5 days. Almost all of it. I read the first 20 chapters ish. And then I remember texting or messaging in the Discord and being like, "Oh, I'm on chapter 20, guys, this and that." And Nate was like, "Oh, I made it to about chapter 40." And then the next day I messaged and I said, "Oh, I made it to chapter 85." And Nate was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" um so Monster was definitely my favorite out of all of the mangas. It definitely probably would not be my favorite out of all the animes, that's for sure. Um, I've seen half of an episode and it was not the most enjoyable experience. Um, Definitely top of the list for the mangas, but I think the only reason Mob beats out Silent Voice for me is that I think, in my opinion, the movie for Silent Voice is a much better way of experiencing it because the characters have their own voices and they have
You know what's
like,
crazy? I feel the same way, but in reverse. I feel that for Mob. I actually like the anime more.
huh,
But I
interesting.
think for me, it's a mix of I feel like I feel like we don't lose anything in the anime. We only gain a lot more through the like insane animation, which we're going to talk about next. Um,
Yeah. I mean, they also
but
picked great casts for the
yeah,
voice
exactly.
actors
Like they're
too.
all
So
like memorable and stuff. Like both sides too. Like Reigen's English VA is fucking awesome.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, Mob is a really good anime as well. I'm not saying it's any worse or better than the Silent Voice movie. I just feel
yeah.
like the story of a Silent Voice is better experienced animated or
Then
just
yeah, I
watching
get
it
what you're saying.
rather than experiencing it on paper because Mob I found obviously the anime basically when I was reading the manga it made me relive loving watching the entire anime but it also reading the manga added something. I kind of liked reading the manga more than watching the anime because I got to put my own spin on like the
The
characters.
jokes and
Yeah,
yeah, I
the
get what you're
jokes and
saying.
everything. It just made more sense to me while I was reading it rather than watching it. So,
Well, Jay, what's your top four?
I'm gonna go from the bottom. 4, Awashi.
damn, as an
Which,
Awashi
listen,
Glazer.
I know.
yeah,
Listen, I like
I
Awashi a
mean,
lot.
yeah,
Just it has
yeah, it's
its
just based off
flaws.
what I think it's just one. I think if we had read it earlier, maybe it would have changed my way of looking at it. But like, from
We've
what we
read
read
some
before,
bangers. Yeah.
exactly, it kind of just gets overshadowed.
yeah.
3, Mob Psycho.
Fair, fair.
That's it. That's all you have to say. That's
Uh,
all.
Yeah.
That's...
He's thinking
No, I
about it.
just
mean, no.
I
That's
feel
what I
like
meant. That's all you have to
based
say.
off what you guys showed me, I feel like I would enjoy the anime more than the manga.
Totally fair.
Because, like I said, I think in the previous episode, it's the way that they use the colors to tell the story. I think it just
Yeah,
adds so much to the
Yeah,
story
I was
that
gonna
we're
say
just
that
missing
earlier
out.
too, and it slipped my mind. Like I just couldn't get the words out. The coloring in Mob is so a part of its identity for me that we really don't get in the manga.
And then
that's true.
2, Monster. If I had had time, because at that point it was like midterm season,
Mhm.
so I really
Hmm.
didn't have much time to read it. So that's why I think it's finisher. And
But the
then
fact that it's number two when you only read about 85
Yeah,
chapters,
exactly.
it says a
pretty
lot.
good.
And then number 1, the Silent Voice.
Hell yeah. The Silent Voice hits different, man. Silent
Yeah.
Voice hits different.
It really
But so
does.
does Mob, and we're gonna get to that today. That this is definitely the more emotional half of Mob Psycho. We're gonna get to like I can think of three really big scenes in the story that like I'm not even tug at the heartstrings, just like really you got to sit there after reading it and be like, damn, kind of moments.
Yeah. That I feel that. That's the exact emotion I got after reading a lot of the stuff in this manga. But like you said,
Um,
all in the second half, pretty
yeah,
much.
pretty much everything is like build up to leading to these moments. But before we get into it, one final thing we want to touch on. At the end of last episode, we did say that we were going to sit Jay down and have him watch some of the anime, some of our choice picks. We showed him the fight with I always forget his name. Jesus. In the big cleanup arc. Tokugawa? No, not Tokugawa. That is the
Teruki
student
you're talking about,
council
right?
president. No, 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 no. We showed him Koyama. There we go. I was looking in the right arc and I read the names in the wrong order on the wiki.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. The big beefy dude
Yeah,
with telekinetic
the
helix.
Mohawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we showed him the fight with Koyama. Then we showed him Teru first. Thank you, Logan. I get that.
Yeah.
That's why you said that. We showed him the Teru's first appearance in his fight. Then we showed him Koyama. Then Reigen 1000, the Mogami fight, and then 99. I'm sorry,
The
question mark, question
final.
mark, question mark. The like
Yeah.
last episode, in pretty much its entirety. Uh,
Literally its entirety.
Jay, what were your thoughts on the anime?
like I said before, I think the coloring adds so much to it, and it just seems like one kind of surprising. I haven't watched it yet,
Yeah,
to be
you do watch
honest.
a lot of anime,
Mm.
so
So the fact that I haven't watched it kind of surprises me. Um, but it's the coloring that just makes it like listen, I have my thing about Dimple being green. I to this day I will go down in the grave saying he should not be green. It doesn't feel right. But like everything else with the call, it just adds so much to the story. Yes, listen. I forget which part it was. They probably should have put in like an epilepsy warning on it.
oh, it was probably definitely the Mogami one.
Mogami fight, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
when one
definitely
of
should
the
Mogami's
have put it
crazy.
but it's like the coloring adds so much to the fight compared to
yeah,
and I think that's just some with
Dude,
me.
they
I forgot
fleshed
how
out the
It's like
fight scenes more in the
crazy.
anime too.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
They made them longer, and they also added a couple extra scenes. And well, maybe not Teruki's. That one was probably even
Pretty
longer in
much
the
spot
manga,
for yeah.
but all the other ones, like especially the Mogami one, there was a lot more fighting.
Dude, it was like I'm trying to think of an equivalent anime to what the Mogami fight felt like.
Literally nothing.
It was
Like I
just like
don't think anything would
the
top it.
fluid animation. I'm thinking like Gurren Lagann or like
Oh, like
some of
trigger
the
animation type of stuff,
yeah, yeah, thank you,
like
Trigger. Like
Chromare.
yeah, it was just so clean and smooth and the amount the attention to detail as well as like going off model, fucking amazing. The anime is like I'm so glad we got to experience the anime coming out in real time, Logue, because
Yeah,
holy, I remember being excited watching it when it was coming out, all 3 seasons, and like, even now, I still feel the same way. Like, one of the best animes I've ever watched in general would probably make my top 5.
yeah. I might even go back. Well, actually, Jaden, if you watch the anime, you should tell us, and then we could do like whenever we're around and not doing anything, we could do a watch party and just rewatch
gotcha.
episodes that you're on
Mm, that'd be
in
Yeah,
fun,
throughout the
yeah.
series.
like right now I have my stuff I want to get through, stuff I
Yeah,
just started.
obviously. But it's like Nate said, it's better that you wait just a little bit. That way it's not super fresh in your mind and
Yep, and
you're
then go
able to
back and
experience it as a second, like in a second wave. So,
alright, with that out of the way, guys, let's jump into the second half of Mob Psycho here. So, when we last left off, we were talking about Division 7. It's Division 7, 7th Division. Um, going from there, which was a very high action intensive, like, shonen arc. It was the longest arc we've had in the series so far. Um, we get a very small, brief arc, 2 chapters long, involving Emmy. And Emmy was a girl who or she was the, like, fake girlfriend for Mob. Um, she, like, invited him out, and it turned out it was just, like, a prank or whatever. Uh, that arc, it was very small, very short. I think it does great to show Mob's growth as a character by that point in the series, especially as, like, a midway point, showing that he went from being very, like, dependent on Reigen and not really sure how to handle himself in a social setting to being able to see someone else in trouble and then step in, kind of like how Reigen would, uh, as it's happening. Specifically talking about when they tear up Emmy's their like manuscript or whatever. Uh, very good, very good. In the anime specifically, that moment hits really hard.
it does. And
When Mob like pulls it back together.
I just noticed that at the bottom of the description on this wiki, it points out something that I didn't even realize probably happened, which is Emmy obviously only went out with Mob because she lost a bet, but the fact that Tsubomi was there and she was
Mm,
thinking, "Oh, that wasn't so bad." I feel like now that I'm rereading that part, she was the one that bet Emmy to see if Mob was like a suitable boyfriend or something like that, or like to see if he'd grown up from when they were a kid and learned about more about his emotions. You know what I mean?
I don't remember. I remember Tsubomi was involved, but I don't remember if she specifically set up the bet.
Well, no, I'm saying I think that might have been implied with her at the end,
Oh, okay,
like
I get what you're
watching
saying.
them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's possible.
It's a
It's possible.
thought.
It was. I liked it. It was a good part. I wish Emmy was like a. I remembered this from the anime, and I still feel this way. I wish Emmy stayed as a character. Um, but I also get that like I don't know what else she would do
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the like from a writer standpoint, I could find ways to involve Emmy, but looking at the rest of the arcs that we have to go through, like there wasn't much they were going to really do. So,
Hmm.
is what it is.
This
Yeah.
one, like early on, kind of feels like a little bit of like a filler arc, but getting towards the end, it kind of like I think it's more like a foreshadowing.
Are we talking
True.
about the next arc?
No,
This one.
the one you're talking about right now.
Oh, Mob. Fair. Mob. The Emmy arc.
Mob? Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah, come
the
on,
whole
hey,
manga.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we're
whole
the
talking
whole
about
manga.
that.
manga,
Skipped.
the whole manga
Skipped
just
to the
We're
arc.
talking about that.
foreshadows a single moment. But I feel like this one just kind of foreshadows.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of true though. The whole manga does foreshadow a certain moment, but
It does. It's
we'll
amazing.
get
The
there.
sequel, Mob Psycho
Yo,
200.
Mob Psycho 200 is crazy. Mob
Mob
Psycho
Psycho
10
101.
Oh my
prologue.
god.
No, that's a
Live
prequel.
action
Come on.
Disney show of Mob Psycho.
Yep. Yep. The after years. Let's move on. Jay, would you like to take it away?
Yes. So, next one is Urban Legends. So, this one, Reagan and Mob and the rest of the consultation office, they investigate a couple of supernatural rumors and urban legends that happen. I forgot what's the name of the city. Within the city. I think
Uh,
it's
I know they're in Salt, but
uh,
I can't remember what city it was.
Seasoning.
Season 9.
Seasoning City.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
thing
That's
is
the
Seasoning
whole.
City, and then all the middle schools are other
Yeah, the salt.
seasonings.
There's
Or
Pepper,
yeah,
maybe.
pepper. Yeah. I think there
Paprika.
was. I remember there was like 4 or 5.
something like that.
There was the dragging woman, and the rumor was she just dragged people into darkness at night.
Yep.
In reality, it was actually a spirit that actually existed. And
Well, all of them technically were, besides the
I think there
guy in the
was one.
trench coat.
There was the one with the brothers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Peppercorn was one of the high schools.
And then there was.
Dude's like on a side quest. Me and Jay are talking about
Oh,
the urban
yeah,
legend.
my bad, my
It's
bad.
there was
like,
the school one that they thought the school was haunted, but it was just a bunch of bored students, and it was just an illusion.
yeah, it was that one, the flasher,
There was the
the
one with
woman in the woods, and then the dog,
um.
old man dog.
There was a there was one that they thought was like a group of cursed spirits haunting a building, but it just turned out to be one powerful spirit, and Mob and Reagan took them down
You know,
together, and like I said, the Shiratori brothers. Am I missing one?
No, I think that's it.
I think
Oh,
I think that's all.
the corn one. What is it? When they were in the cornfield or whatever, and the thing came out of the ground. That's how Mob learned to control plants.
that happened
No,
here.
no one.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right there. If you scroll
Yeah.
down, it says Evil spirit possessing a crop
Wriggling
field.
figure. Wiggly figure.
What?
That's what it says on the that's what it says on the mod page.
Wait,
Where do you
is-
see that? I don't see
If
that
you
at
if you
all.
click it, the image says
Evil
upper
spirit?
class evil
Okay.
spirit
Oh,
wiggly figure.
Wriggle Wriggle,
Wriggle.
that's its name. Wiggly figure. Okay,
I do not
interesting.
remember it being called that, but funny.
Okay. Um.
This arc, this is what I just thought of earlier when I like had an aha moment. When you said last arc felt like a bunch of foreshadowing, this arc specifically, especially with the dragger, it felt like the build up to how scary the entities can be in this manga for Mogami.
True.
Yeah.
And another precursor was the damn, I always forget his name. But the curse collector, Meraki, is that his name?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Matsuo, one of
I know who
them.
you're talking about from 7th Division.
Oh no, Meraki's the hologram guy. Yeah,
Matsuo.
one of those guys. I think it's Matsuo.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he was another foreshadow because he
They were like
had that giant ass fucking candy one.
yeah, they were scary, but they were still like in the realm of mob goofballiness.
Oh
But
wait,
like
no, his actual foreshadowing one was revealed later. The one that he had in the jar that he didn't want to take out
in
and came out after
World
Suzuki.
Domination. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot about that one. I forgot that was later, sorry. I
No,
thought
you're
that
good,
was
you're good.
before.
I wonder if one planned to have scary entities like this from the jump, or if it was a decision he made later.
You know what? It might have been a decision he made later because I remember there being that one omake where he did the collab with the horror manga.
Mm,
And like the girl that gets all the glass stuck in her and then Mob wants to take it out and she's like, "No, I like it." You know what I mean?
yeah.
I feel like maybe he read that mangaka's work and he was like, "Oh, maybe I can throw in this scary thing," you know?
It does really well. It helps to like clash with the already goofballiness of Mob, which in turn just helps because that's kind of what it's built on anyways, is like the juxtaposition of real life and just like the bluntness of Mob.
Yeah.
Not much else to say on this arc, I think, just because again, it's more of a foreshadow for what's to come with Mogami.
Mhm.
I mean, even did Jay even bring up Shinra? He's such a nothing character.
No, the only thing he's useful for is being somebody that recognizes them in the Mogami arc when they go to do the thing, like
Yeah,
the exorcism, or when Dimple possesses him to fight the woman in the woods, and you know,
that does happen. Yep.
he tears his Achilles or something because he doesn't work out.
Goofy. Moving
There's
on
one
though.
thing.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
never mind. No. Take it away.
One
My
Just
thing
bad.
I
one more
found
thing.
kind of funny. I just like can't get out of my head. Every time I look at Kaido, he looks like he just fit perfectly in Minecraft. Because of this shit.
What?
He's got the square head.
Yeah, that one of the brothers, the
One of the
twins,
brothers.
like
Oh,
the
oh, oh,
telepathic ones.
dude, he said that, and I thought Kaido from One Piece.
Bruh.
I was like, what?
Oh my god.
What are you talking about? I was so confused. I was like, he is so checked out of this episode.
Yeah, he's like thinking about things
Yeah, he's thinking
completely
about the
different.
future. He's thinking about the future. Moving on, Logan. Mogami!
Okay, Mogami, the arc where we're blessed with the first sight of %. That
Not
comes
true.
later on though. What?
We see it in the Teru fight.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's true, but that's like a way lesser version than it shows in
Yeah, fair.
this, because that wasn't even his emotions taking over him at that. It was his body, like, dying, you know what I mean? and then
Mhm.
his mind took over. But this one, he turned into the question mark because of how angry he was at everyone else in the twisted mind world of the daughter of the rich guy. But anyway, starts off with Reigen, Dimple, Mob, all going to this exorcism for a really rich guy, and they're trying to like all he invites all the psychic mediums and everyone in the land to go to his house, and he's like, "Oh, I'll pay everyone or whoever exercises the demon that's in my daughter, I'll pay you very handsomely." So of course Reagan, being the con man he is like, "Oh, I'll try first." And then they end up doing like a contest to see who goes in what order. And then Reagan gets his chance and he can't do it, but he does figure out that nothing is actually wrong with her. It's just she's actually possessed by, you know, Mogami, who
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
the most fucking
The
I
most
like
powerful entity in the whole series, I think?
yeah, pretty much. Well, at his time, he was the most powerful. It's basically a Sukuna of Mob Psycho. Like
Yeah.
he died a while ago, but he found somebody to possess that will get him back into the real world, and then once he gets released or once he releases himself from her, then he is actually in like a physical form or like a spirit form. And then uh Mob infiltrates the girl's mind, and then he has this whole monologue, and Mogami basically shows him this facade of what the world could be like for him if he didn't use his powers, which Mob already doesn't do. So Mob is completely used to it, and he's not letting it affect him at all. And then the things just keep getting worse and worse and worse
They, like,
until
start to actively bully him and
yeah,
stuff,
they
right?
kick him
Yeah.
and they pour milk on him and like throw sand in his eyes and all that stuff. And eventually Mogami is just blasting him with like use your powers to kill them, just get rid of them. And then uh Dimple eventually goes in for a little bit to knock some sense back into Mob before he can go all out, like kill everybody. And then it ends up putting Mob back into a state where he can fight back against Mogami. So then he goes full anime mode, aka 100% courage, I think it is. Something like that.
I don't remember the exact call, but yeah, it's funny.
Yeah,
They do, like, a bit.
he turns into a typically drawn shonen anime character instead of the one art style, and he just blasts everything that Mogami throws at him, and he ends up making it out of the mind before it crumbles. And then Minori woke up, and everything that happened in her head, she remembered. So she knew Mob, and she changed her ways. Oh, and it was also revealed while he was in her mind that she was a total asshole to like everyone in her school. And Mob was saying, I'm not going to use my powers because using powers won't change anybody. Like people can change without, you know, the effects of powers. And it ended up being true because Mogami or Minori said that she was going to change.
Yeah.
So that's basically the end of the Mogami arc. It was fucking awesome though.
Mogami, yeah, that was one of my favorite arcs in the whole thing. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it definitely like stuck with me.
I think the anime did the
Favorite anime
Mogami
arc,
arc.
I will say.
Yeah, the anime did the Mogami arc a lot of justice. Like, I think the image of Mob in the question mark percentage in the Mogami scene is what's always burned into my mind of the
For
question mark
question mark.
percentage. Like, where
Yeah.
his hair is going all wavy and all that, and then the whole background is just completely white. It's so sick.
I agree. Any uh any takes from our resident cat?
Uh, I don't think it's my favorite arc, but it's definitely up there. I would probably slot it in third.
Third is top 3 is a good spot for it for sure. I would argue it's like the best standalone arc for Mob.
I wouldn't say that.
It's hard to say that because I was about to as I said that, I was like, it's much more serious than the rest of Mob, so it's hard to show that to somebody and be like, this is what Mob always is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a little tiny bit at the beginning where Reigen is being all chit chatty with everyone in the room, and then
Yeah,
the
I
guy
guess
says, "Oh, I'll pay you," but that's about it.
I just like how serious it is in the sea of unserious stuff in Mob, I guess. Is
Yeah,
my where I like it so much.
It's a good tone changer.
Yeah.
and it actually kind of it makes sense that it's basically the halfway point because in all the arcs after it, there's not much full on comedy chapters. It's just almost
Yeah,
completely
things get a
serious.
lot more serious for the
Yeah,
remainder of the story. Yeah.
exactly.
I
So
think this
that's
arc
kind
is
of
a
the
good
turning
way of
point.
segueing it
Yep.
into
Yeah.
being a more serious manga. Or let me rephrase that. A good segue to prepare the viewer for the manga to get more serious.
Mhm.
So, if I remember right, the start of the next arc, Reigen's popularity skyrockets because of Mogami, correct? Or
I
is
think
it
so, yeah.
Think so.
and then he starts getting ahead of himself and like going on interviews and stuff, and then like he gets exposed on like live TV or something like that. Because he gets set up, and this is the arc where Mob figures out without like a shadow of a doubt that Reigen is a fraud. Um, or I guess Mob like doesn't believe it at first. Am I right? Like he kind of sits there and he's like, "Oh well, maybe
Yeah.
something went wrong with Master," but
He doesn't believe it until he's watching the live stream where Reagan's fumbling on his words, and he's, like, not answering any questions and anything like that. When he hears about it through word of mouth, he's like, "Oh, no, that's just him. Like, he'll bounce back from this." You know what I mean? But then
yeah,
once he sees it on the last live TV performance or the interview, not the performance, uh, that's when he really thinks, "Oh, I gotta help him." And then he, you know, does what he does.
the again, the whole crux of the arc is Mob. This is like we get a bit more of it at the very end of the story, but this is the first time where Mob seriously has no that he has to accept that Reigen isn't who he says he is. Um, and there's a bit of turmoil from it, but the part from this arc that sticks with me the most, honestly, even after reading the manga again, was the final chapter of it where they're like standing there and Reigen has the conversation with Mob about it. Um, after the whole shaking of the building and all that.
Yeah, because he's still afraid to tell Mob the truth, even
Yeah,
after the whole thing just happened. But it also sets this is another moment of foreshadowing for the last or the second to last arc if you don't count the time skip,
yeah.
the question mark arc, because in that
That's what
one,
I was leading up to. Like this is
yeah.
like the build up for that later.
And it
Um,
makes more sense because in the arc before this, and in the beginning of this arc, when Mob is not a part of Reigen's uh spirits and such consultation, he is learning more about himself as Kageyama, not Mob, because
yeah,
obviously we know those are two separate entities in his mind. So while he's being Kageyama, like basically 100% of the time, Kageyama is the one that realizes that, or maybe not even realizes, he probably already knew, like he already had a hunch that maybe Reigen wasn't psychic, but he was just waiting to find out for sure. And then he himself realizes it in this arc. But the mob that was like, he subsided mob during this whole part. So mob didn't get to see this happening to Reigen, which is why later, when Mob is the one that is surprised by it, and Kageyama is like, nah, come on. Like, it's Reigen. He's been like this. It makes a lot more sense.
yeah, that's fair. I've always got the impression that Mob has always known. He just both Reagan's refusal to tell Mob and Mob's refusal to accept the truth and to like play into it have clashed with each other the entire series. Um, I always read it throughout not just this arc or the last arc, just the series as in general, as it was a both characters not wanting to say a single truth. So there's always a small disconnect, even though they're so close to each other.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
because I guess it's hard for me to suspend my belief that Mob doesn't have doubts about Reagan the whole time.
I
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
feel
he does.
Yeah,
it's more of they don't want to disappoint the other.
Yeah,
Where
Reigen
Reagan
doesn't want
doesn't
to
want to,
disappoint him.
because this is from what you guys showed me in the anime. It's like at the end, like what he
Mhm.
tells him, and
mm,
it's just like I feel like Mob's also in the same position where it's like, oh, he did that, like not to upset me, and he's probably looking at it's like, damn, I knew this whole entire fucking time.
I knew.
I just didn't
Yeah,
want to say anything, because then he probably wouldn't have. Because I feel like, what I explained, Reagan taught him life lessons. There were some life lessons that he learned through Reagan.
yeah, mentor figure for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
like even if it wasn't like power specific, just life. Like there's some lessons like even we could take away from Reagan.
True.
I agree. Reagan's a goat. Um, no, I guess that's all I have to really say. Oh, I guess the last thing I want to touch on this arc is just that I like if there was going to be an arc where Reagan gets exposed, I like that this is the way they did it because it felt the most natural for his character. Um, of him getting so overzealous and getting so ahead of himself that he like falls in on himself as a like he's such a good con man, but he can only con his way so far, basically,
Mhm.
like realistically. Um, I don't know. It's a sweet arc. I like it a lot. This one honestly might be my favorite for as little as I talked about it, just because of like what it does for the series and like how it sets up the dynamic, or how it continues to set up the dynamic for Mob and Reagan. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got to say on it. But one of the other best arcs is up next. World Domination.
That's
Jay.
me. That's me. So, world domination. Before I start, I think this one might be my favorite.
Totally fair.
And I'm like 95% sure one of the fights you guys showed me the other night was from this arc. Right? Did you guys show me?
I don't think
Uh,
we did.
Oh,
I
you
think we skipped
didn't?
it.
no. but
Oh,
we
we
should
skipped
show
it.
him after this.
Yeah, at least
Oh shit!
squinty
I
eye
thought it was
guy
in this arc.
Yeah,
Damn, I got confused then.
Shimizaki.
Shimazaki. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one is so good.
there are some amazing moments. So, oh man, I don't want to steal Jay's thunder, but like just the I'm not going to. I'll talk about it after.
Okay,
I'll hold my thought. I'll hold my thought.
I'll just run through the quick summary of the arc. So Claw is now revealed to be and not is actually revealed to be a giant um psychic organization led by
Suzuki.
Suzuki,
Yep.
Yep.
and they begin the whole plan of global domination. Hence the name of the arc.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take control of the Japanese government by brute force. But Mob Reigen, Teru, Ritsu, and a couple of others, uh, and then with some help from some of the former enemies from the 7th Division, uh, they form an alliance to storm the Claw HQ to stop Suzuki. This is where I'm pretty sure Mob kind of reaches, like, he gets to his most powerful point without going all the way.
Overboard.
So,
Yeah.
question, yeah.
Um, I love that we got the setup where the Claw guys were like not jokes, but like they were like a medium level threat in the series. Like they were terrifying, but like if Mob really went crazy, he could stop them. Um, but for obvious reasons, I mean, because of Reigen's influence, he doesn't. At the end of 7th Division. But as the reader, we know the stakes aren't really that high, right? World domination comes around, and all of the 7th Division members are kind of crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, not 7th. I looked at the screen and saw 7th Division, and my brain like fried for a second. All of the main branch members for Claw are kind of crazy. Even for Mob, some of them are hard to handle, which I appreciate. I appreciate that this group that came around and was like semi-serious, not really a joke, but like for us as the reader they were, to have them really be a part of like such a massive group of psychics and like to have them be such a threat to the world, it was cool. That was a fun like plot twist, I guess. And we knew it was gonna happen because they had set up Toshiro and Little Suzuki at one point, but they didn't really like it's been a while since we've seen anything from them.
Yeah, the last thing we saw was Show faking the thingy, what you would call it. I mean, not faking the thingy. Um, didn't he go to the other organization afterwards?
He calls his dad at the end of
7th Division.
7th Division, yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew they existed. It was just like it's been so long since they were a part of the series that it was like when you first watch it or read it and don't know this arc is coming up, it was such like a pleasant surprise that it was like a major part in the story.
Hmm.
Oh man, I forgot the body improvement club in this arc is all of the side characters in this arc because it involves the whole city, right? All of the
True.
side characters in this arc were amazing. The psychics coming back from 7th Division, not just 7 Divisions ones, but like the kids that were at the 7th Division, them coming back and like actually being a part of like the main squad was cool.
Yeah, they were being trained by Teraki the whole time.
Yeah, we got to see so much more from Sho this time. Just like on a combat perspective, like him trying to stop his dad, and Ritsu got his moment. They all got moments, man. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god, wait a minute.
this is the best shonen arc in the whole thing, I think.
You just reminded me of something. that I want to write down and talk about in one of the later arcs because I don't even think it happened in the manga. Um, okay, sorry. I could be completely misremembering. But what I was going to say about this arc, after you talked about Sho, is that we still didn't know that Sho was a good guy after the call because this is where we find out that he actually didn't burn down or like burn
Yeah.
Mob's
The
family.
arc starts with Mob seeing his house like burning down,
Hmm.
and then the world go crazy.
Yes.
Look at these Blu-ray covers. I don't know if they did them for any other season, but holy shit. These are
Oh,
awesome. I didn't know these existed.
Yeah, those are really cool. I wonder if
I
they had
I
a
like
steelbook
yeah,
for
I like
Mob.
that they're like the normal manga covers, but like with the characters from the anime proportions. You feel me? Like not the one versions, but the studio ones. Oh my god. The Mogami one
Yeah.
specifically is fire. I love that one. I kind of want that on a display.
They also have one for Volume 4, it looks like. I can't
Oh
find
yeah.
Volume 3 though. Oh
Well,
wait,
I
I found them all.
Mob Psycho Blu-ray.
$458 on eBay for the full 16
Dear God.
set.
oh yeah.
Is it just for season 2? Or do
Uh
all the other seasons have similar? Yes, I see 6
yeah.
has a cool one. It looks like just season 2 follows that gimmick. I can't find.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't even notice that they were all season 2.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think maybe
shame.
because season 1 is all in one
Yeah.
Blu-ray maybe instead of being multiple discs.
Oh, but the
Season
season 2 ones
3
are
is
amazing.
3 discs, it looks like.
Oh my god, dude! Look at the
But
cover for 5 for World Domination.
oh, it's like all the claw members
Yeah, all the
inside.
claw members in the in the crowd. That's so good.
Yeah, that's dope.
Whoever designed those, like
He's a
they
righty.
knew. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm like fanboy. Someone has already displayed them. I'm now seeing an image of somebody displaying them.
That's awesome. We should get them all.
I really want them for sure. Sorry for that tangent. I just wow, those are those needed a shout out because those that artwork is awesome. Um, End of this arc, we get Serizawa.
We do.
One of my favorite characters in the whole series that I feel like got very underutilized. I wish we got him sooner.
Yeah, he seemed well, I guess he did come back in the time skip a lot, but or not the time skip, but the
He comes
aftermath.
Yeah, he comes up a lot um after this. It's just not like I wanted I guess out of Serizawa, I wanted to see more of him doing exorcism stuff with Reigen
Hmm.
and like being a backup guy for Mob instead of him just like it feels more like growing Reigen's agency, and that's the only role he fills outside of just being a cool character.
Yeah,
I
they needed to do a little more with Serizawa and his umbrella. I feel
and his
like they
umbrella.
don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had a cool power set.
Although I guess the whole point of his umbrella being destroyed was that he didn't actually need it to fit into society. So
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense, but they could have done more during the fight.
I agree. Still a cool character in general. I'm glad he got introduced. Tochiro was a cool villain. He felt very like I don't want to say generic, but like he didn't stand out to me as a villain.
Hmm.
I When you have a good shonen villain, I feel like they define the arc Totoro just kind of felt like the claw members needed a big, strong guy to be at the head of the pack, and that was he just had to fill the role.
I also found it
Yeah.
kind of whatchamacallit, kind of effortless how he had the same gimmick as Mob, where he had a reserve of power, and the more he used, the less he could control it, until he went into like that weird pumpkin demon form where he was like ultra buff and he had no control over his power and he was like an animal. That
Mhm.
was just kind of annoying to me. I feel like that didn't need to happen. He could have just went from being able to control it just barely and beating the shit out of Mob to going a little bit too far after Mob showed him that he was still more powerful than him, and then going straight into self-destruct. I feel like that whole middle section was not needed.
That's what I'm saying. It felt like Totoro as a like as an antagonist falls short in terms of like ambition and like what he stands for. Um,
Yeah.
obviously like that him and Sho are on opposite ends of like the moral spectrum here, but at the same time, like it doesn't feel like it just feels like Totoro is evil to be evil. Like he's not necessarily which isn't necessarily a bad thing because in some series that is, I mean, we talked about it before, the Kid Buu effect where like it just comes out of nowhere and it's suddenly like, whoa, like
Yeah.
this thing is just awful for everyone. But like Totoro just felt like he just had to fill the role and it was like whatever. But still he had a cool set of powers and he was cool in the anime, so like we take it as it comes.
Hmm.
And now the great payoff. Wait, oh my god, I just realized, am I doing Divine Tree?
Uh,
I think I am.
no,
Yeah.
I'm doing
Oh
Divine
wait,
Tree.
you're doing, no, I got excited.
Well, I mean,
I'll
I
I'll do
can
I'll just lead in
I
by
can pass it
saying
over.
no
Well,
no no. I'll
actually, oh, never mind. I was gonna say it would
I'll
make
lead in
sense.
by saying the payoff for the Psycho Helmet cult, which has been slowly drip fed information wise to us throughout the all of these arcs, finally comes to a head.
It does, and in a very fantastic way, because somebody who has never had the spotlight finally has the spotlight. Well, and besides the laugh out loud arc or the
Yeah.
LOL arc, but Dimple finally gets his time to shine. And similar to how Mob and Reigen have their falling out and then, you know, recuperation periods, this is Mob and Dimple's version of that. So basically, Mob, after the fight with Suzuki, Mob had the broccoli seeds in his pocket still from when Reigen gave them to him as a bonus. Um, and basically, after the fight, giant explosion happened, and those seeds turned into a gigantic broccoli, like the size of 3 skyscrapers, probably. And everyone in the town starts to get mesmerized by it, and they're thinking, oh, what the heck is this? How did this show up? And Dimple ends up taking over part of the tree to make it look like the Psycho Helmet advertisements that everyone's been seeing around the town or the city. And he starts to get people to worship the tree by giving, like, brainwashing them. Same as what he did with LOL, but with no need of the mask. It was just word of mouth and believing in him. So he eventually loses control of the tree, and the tree turns out to be its own entity, basically. So Mob goes to confront Dimple about what he's doing. Well, I guess before this happens, we don't know that. And then Mob goes to confront Dimple about why he's trying to become like this all-powerful being, and he kind of gets a little bit jealous at first, and he's like, "Well, I'm the leader of the Psycho cult," and then Reigen puts him in his place and is like, "Why? You don't need to be that popular. Like, you never sought after this in your life. Why are you gonna do it now? It's pointless." And then he goes to Dimple and he's like, "Dude, why are you doing this? This is not you. The Dimple I know is just carefree and wants to live a good life and just be noticed." And then Mob, for the first time, has like this really sincere apology where when Dimple was trying to explain to him earlier on in the story that he wants to become a god and he needs Mob's help and he wanted to do it with Mob, Mob just kind of brushed it off as, oh, he's just talking about his evil deeds again. But he sincerely apologized that he didn't listen to him back then because he realized Dimple really just wanted a friend. And then Dimple he stops trying to fight him on it and he's like, wow, what a guy. What a guy. And then that's when the tree gains sentience and tries to kill both of them. And Dimple it's trying to steal Mob, I guess, to drain all of his powers. And then Dimple sacrifices himself to fight off the tree, and he flies it off into the sky, and he is never seen again.
Yeah, big rip Dimple.
What? Oh, big rips. I thought you said, "Yup, he grips Dimple," and I'm like,
Yo,
"Oh,
what?
and where and why?"
That was a different series I was watching.
Oh,
This one,
what? Whoa.
Like,
that-
source link sauce.
Jesus Christ. What
Yeah,
an
what if it starts with
awesome.
the P?
Shut up.
What?
This.
Wait, what? Hold
Don't
on.
stop.
He wanted the link.
Stop. This is
Oh,
Mob
okay.
Psycho,
So your website starts
This
with
is
the
for
P.
good boys and girls.
That's true.
I
Uh,
mean,
Shut up. Yeah,
He's talking about Popeyes, like the Popeyes
yeah,
website with
yeah.
the good food.
Get some good chicken from Popeyes. Sponsor us, please.
Exactly.
I would low-key take a sponsorship from Popeyes.
I don't think I would. I'm not a
I would.
huge fan of
never had
Popeyes.
Well,
Popeyes.
it's a good thing
Okay.
I'm the one in control of this podcast and you have no say
Yep.
in it.
Uh-huh.
So Dimple is dead.
Dimple, yep, he's gone.
And man, the broccoli arc was awesome. I love broccoli arc. The slow build up to like Mob getting a big head of himself, which is kind of a parallel to Reigen, huh? When you think about it.
Yeah, it's like the exact opposite of what Reagan's trying to do. He's like trying to lay low. Well, after his whole incident
That's what
and
I'm
before
saying.
that, he was like, "All right, let's like don't tell anyone that this exists. Like, let's just keep our clients on the down low because
Yeah.
I'm conning their ass."
And then with finally getting a payoff for Dimple, who's been a character the entire series. And we knew from the start that this was something that he wanted and was going to do. It was just like to actually have it play out was like, whoa. Whoa there, buddy. Whoa, little green buddy. What you doing?
Yeah, actually, I forgot to mention that we didn't even know where Dimple was this whole time because after Mob brushed off him saying that he wanted to become a god and, have some sort of power and like make people's
He
lives
did make
better.
one last try to reach out to Mob.
Yeah,
That
and
did
then
happen.
Mob dismissed him and was like, "Dimple, stop thinking about that stuff. Like that stuff is bad. It doesn't help people or whatever." And then Dimple just left, and we actually just had no idea where he was. He did not come back after that.
Hmm.
Well, actually, I guess he came back in World Domination, but he never saw Mob. Like he never went up to Mob during that after that. So We had no idea that it was going to be Nipple.
We're at the finish line. Unless Jay has something to say about broccoli.
No.
No notes.
Yo, we
No.
got actually
Uh,
add that to the list of scenes to show him. We gotta show him Dimple's fight
yeah,
with
Golden
the
Dimple,
broccoli.
because I'm
Yes.
sure it not being a
Yeah.
white ghost would drive him
Yeah,
insane.
exactly. He's gonna be like, wait, Dimple's not freaking red when he goes Super Saiyan? I don't understand.
He doesn't go Super Saiyan Blue? What? I guess I get to talk about this very brief intermission. Right before the series ties up, we get a loose ends chapter where we tie up the telepathy club with Tome. And they get to go to the alien UFO and they go to the alien world, and there's a funny little bit that happens where one of them just stays with the aliens and he has big old anime eyes and it's hilarious and it's very funny, haha. Um I wish the telepathy club members were a bigger part of the series. And talking about the series now, I'm starting to understand why I don't place Mob Psycho any higher on my list of things that I of like manga and anime that I like, despite it being like still in my top 5. I feel like there's such missed potential in so much of the cast that I struggle to really like not jive with it, because obviously I do, but like I just wish there was more. I wish there was more to it. And I think, I mean, like they cheat, right? They give us like the 99.1, 99.2, 90, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they do try to keep the series to a certain length so that it fits into the Mob 100 like idea with the 100 chapters or whatever. Um I think if that wasn't a case, we could have gotten a lot more out of the series. I was thinking like, and this isn't gonna make any sense to you guys, but for the listener, for anyone who's read, I know I've talked about it on podcast before. For anyone who's read or watched part 4 of JoJo's, one of the main things or themes of that part was like the whole town being discovered by the main character, and then all of the characters in the town forming like a community. In like, as the story in part 4 progresses, those characters keep coming back and keep becoming relevant and stay important and do more and more, until like the whole town is like just one big community fighting against one enemy. And it's like there is a sense of that in Mob, but I don't feel like it's to the same extent because of stuff like with the Telepathy Club, where like we get introduced to them and they come back multiple times and they're recurring characters, but they're not super important. Like they don't do anything in the series that would like heavily change anything of major substance. Maybe I'm doing them a disservice by saying that, but I feel like if you took out the Telepathy Club and just replaced it with any other characters, they would achieve the same thing for Mob.
I disagree.
That's fine. I totally get that. I totally get that. I'm just like, if you were to put a like it, let's say instead of the Telepathy Club, it was like the Photography Club, and it was
Oh, wait, no. I didn't mean I disagree with that point specifically. I meant like I think it's good that there's some characters that don't get a spotlight at all because I feel I feel like one didn't try to make everybody quote unquote the main character of certain arcs or certain aspects of the story just to put more focus on the people that are in the spotlight. And also, I like the fact that they crumpled it into a smaller frame because it just shows the dedication of actually finishing and like bringing it to a conclusive end while also not dragging it on for the sake of oh, this character didn't get enough screen time or page time, so let's add a little bit here and there. You know what I mean? I feel like it would be Mob
Yeah,
150 if they did a little bit for everyone. You know what I mean?
for sure, for sure. I still, and I guess as someone who really likes character writing, I would have liked to see more from them, but I also totally agree with your sentiment as well, where like I appreciate how short it is and how they're able to fit so much in such a short time, and like they don't really meander from Mob as a character. The series stays with them the entire time.
Hmm.
It's two different series, and they like this and JoJo's, and they both do different things for sure. Um, I guess I like, out of a preference, I preferred JoJo's take on building a community over what Mob did. But again, they're achieving different things.
Mhm.
I feel like this was a good arc to really bring that up in, because it felt like, to me, this UFO bit feels like one trying to wrap up a loose end that he knows he didn't really get to flesh out all that much throughout the story, but was important to the story to some degree that they deserve to be fleshed out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Like
makes
there,
sense.
I feel like I said, you could have replaced him with any other club. They could have been the photography club in what's her name
Misato.
could have been. Yeah,
Misato. Yeah.
she could have been in the role of Tomei, and I don't think anything would have really changed. Um, but we still get enough of them to the point where, like, if the series had ended without this, then people would probably be a little bit more upset about it.
Yeah.
But I will pass the torch, and I will give Log. I want you to fill the reader in. Fill the reader. Oh, yeah, yeah. Give us a summary on
I'll
question
fill the
mark
reader.
percentage.
Sorry, what?
Shut up.
Um,
Just
Hmm?
I'm done.
Well,
Let's do question mark percent, and then we'll give our takes on it. Or
okay.
we'll wrap Mob up. We'll do our final takes on the series. I feel like we've been giving our final takes on the series as this part has been going, but
I think
I
maybe
wanna,
instead of final takes, we should give our favorite arc.
yeah, for
Because
sure.
me and you
Well,
haven't said our favorite.
we'll do our big, like,
Big
discussion,
boom.
our big boom right at the
Uh,
end. But first,
you guys
Mob's
the
big boom.
Costco guys?
yeah.
All right. Well, I tried to do a great transition there, and then Costco guys got brought up. So
Sorry.
Alright.
Um,
I'll see myself out.
don't you
no.
dare.
Don't leave it. It'll mess
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
mess Craig up.
Unless you
Shout
hit
out
us
Craig
with the
mention.
soundboard leave, that would
Nah,
have been different.
I don't have it.
Oh, damn.
Unfortunate.
All right. Well,
I just got
so,
off and walked away.
the question mark percent arc is all about Mob confessing to Tsubomi, who is his childhood crush, basically. And everyone in the school starts confessing to her and just at random times. And Mob was about to also go behind the school and ask her out, basically, or ask her to be his girlfriend. But Misato was the one that said, "Nah, you gotta do it in a private place where it's only you and her. Like that's the best
Yeah.
way to do it." So basically, he is walking, and he sees Teruki, and Teruki tells him to buy some flowers. So he buys a little bouquet, and then, or he buys one flower, just one, I'm pretty sure, and then Minigishi, the plant guy from the World Domination arc, one of the higher, upper echelon of Claw, gives him a bouquet and tells him like, yeah, just it's on the house, it's on me, you got this. And then he tries to save a kid on his way walking to the park he told Tsubomi he would meet at. He tries to save him without his powers, and well, he saves one person with his powers, and then he sees the kid and he tries to save him without his powers and ends up getting hit by a truck. And basically, it does the same thing that it did when Teruki choked him out and turned him into question mark percent. Except this time, the question mark percent is fixated on Tsubomi, which had very or way more heightened emotions than Teruki's because he wasn't even like he didn't even know him basically. He just met Teruki in that moment. So on his way, he turns into this, null being on the outside and he's just walking towards the park, throwing everyone and anything aside. And everyone is trying to stop him. Like almost all the characters, basically. Sho, Teruki, Suzuki, the Body Improvement Club, Ritsu. Um, so basically, Mob is confronting himself within his mind. And when I say Mob, I mean his powers, because Kageyama is actually a separate being in his own mind, and he's starting to disappear because Mob is taking over his body. And then at the very climax, when he's about to reach the park, Reigen and Serizawa make their final effort to try and stop him. And Reigen is running after him, trying to yell at him, get his attention, and he eventually reaches him after a large amount of effort. And once he finally reaches him, he gets the help of a friend that we haven't seen and didn't know was still alive, Dimple. It gives him some strength to rival mobs, and Reagan's actually able to have a conversation with him. And eventually he reveals that he's a fraud and he has no powers and he cons his customers and he apologizes for it. But he reveals his true self. And then with that, Mob is in shock and Kageyama offers his hand to merge them together once again and be one person who is now just Kageyama but has control of his powers. And it works. And then he walks into the park and confesses to Tsubomi, and she turns him down.
Yeah. And then he cries. He cries a lot.
He cries, and then Reagan says, "Let's go get a burger."
Or some shit. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what he says, right? Let's go get a burger. Burger Man gets lunch.
Burger Man get that. Wow. Jay hasn't seen that yet. We're showing him that after
Yeah,
the
we
podcast.
show him that, and then the Teruki and Dimple fights. Those are
And
the
then now
two.
we should just do a running bit with the podcast where we say we'll show Jay something, and then at the start of
And we
every other
just never
podcast we
show
talk
me.
about it. No. We'll
We
have you
always show
get your
you.
take. Yeah, we'll always show you. You just never show me. What? Um, I have nothing else to really say on the end of this story besides. I will quickly just say like the epilogue we get to of like a bit of a time skip in like getting to see Tomei working at Reagan's agency, which is like really the only other major thing they do with that character. Um,
He's got a job.
that's mean of me to say because I think in the Reagan like side story, she's a part of it, but I haven't read that, so I don't know to what extent. But it brings everyone together. Uh, and it's all for Reagan's birthday, and we get to see the characters goofing off, and Reagan gets a little emotional, and Mob gets emotional and starts laughing, and the series ends. And it's basically confirming that Mob has gotten over his like,
Fear of himself.
yeah, and it's just the perfect way to end the series. Question mark, question mark, question mark percent arc was a really touching way to explain to us or like to confirm finally, like, or not even finally, just to fully confirm that Mob and Kageyama were kind of separate characters, at least to Mob himself,
Yeah.
the entire time, and to have them reconcile in the way that they do. Um, I mean, that was one of those damn moments that I was talking about earlier. Uh, in the podcast. Like, it just kind of hits you when it happens. Takes your breath away. Great writing by one. I said last part that like this, I feel like this is one's best work. I really stand by it, and it helps that it's a complete work, right? Like having the full scope, but like having it being short and sweet, and knowing that there was a plan the entire time, and like getting the build up to the Psycho Helmet stuff and Claw, and getting to see Mob like reveal his powers slowly, and but like still getting like at every arc a new way that he's using it, without breaking really the rules that are established with it or how it works. And it's like, ugh, it's peak.
It is.
Jay,
I
you
have one
oh
thing, and I just want you to put it up. No words.
Nice.
hey, he said no words.
What?
Jay said no words. No
Okay,
talk.
sorry.
Yep,
Then
this one has to
starting
go
now.
uninterrupted. Yep.
All right.
Oh,
Let's get
awesome.
to the
Glad this
next.
podcast went silent.
Let's get to the next one.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Before the wheel spin, and I've got something to say about that. Um, let's let, let let's send Mob off with our favorite arc. And our favorite character. Our favorite arc and our favorite character. We'll start with Logue, we'll do Jay, and then me.
Okay. I think my favorite arc is probably I don't know. I feel like I kind of think the Divine Tree arc was my favorite when we watched the anime, and the manga did it justice. So I'm gonna say that's my favorite, because I'm not saying my favorite character is Dimple, but he is one of my favorite characters. And the whole like word battle between him and Mob, where Mob finally realizes he can hold his own without using any power whatsoever, that was like awesome. And Dimple making the ultimate sacrifice for Mob, even though just a moment ago he was like ready to kill him. It just shows a lot about Mob himself. And my favorite character, oh man, I think it's Ritsu. I kind of like
That tracks.
Ritsu,
Which is awesome.
especially, and I think based off what the wiki says about the question mark arc, that in the manga Ritsu does like fight Mob on that bridge. Oh yeah, because he saves the Body Improvement Club,
Yeah.
the other guy from dying on the spike or on the rock, and that part in the anime was amazing. I love that part. So I think Ritsu's my favorite character. All right, Jay.
What about you, Jay? Yeah.
So my favorite arc, I think I mentioned it earlier, was the world domination one.
Mhm.
I think that one is kind of your standard shonen arc, if that makes sense.
It does.
I think that's just something like shonen is kind of one of my favorite genres, and this is just like your typical shonen arc. So it's easier for like I think I just found it more enjoyable that way. Not that way, but like I found more enjoyable it being just like a standard shonen arc. Because with stuff like that, it's not too much to follow. And like I said, like that speech by Reigen, amazing.
Yeah, Reigen has some of the best speeches in the
For a
series.
guy that's bullshitting, like
Yeah,
he'll be pulling shit out of his ass sometimes.
yeah, when he's not conning clients, he's actually teaching valuable life lessons to those around him.
And
Reigen's
then
my favorite.
favorite character.
Spoilers.
Yeah, come on, spoilers. Reagan's up there. It's gotta be between him and the leader of the Body Improvement Club.
Oh
Oh,
hell yeah.
Musashi.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
he's
pick.
awesome. I thought you were gonna say Show after that pause, but Show really doesn't do a lot, so
Yeah, he's a cool
understandable.
character. He just doesn't get much screen time.
Yeah.
I
All
mean,
I
right,
like
Nate.
how go to oh sorry, how do you pronounce his name? Musashi?
Musashi.
Musashi,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like how he like even when like Mob decides to join the Body Improvement Club, like he never mocked him, never pressured him. He always encouraged him.
He's a bro.
Yeah,
Like he's
and
just
then
straight up a bro. Yeah.
like he joined the club and they're like um not because like he's strong, but because they saw, and I think this kind of goes to the whole body improvement club. They saw that Mob had a drive to improve himself.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I never really thought about it this way, but it's called the Body Improvement Club, not like the weightlifting club or the fitness club. That's everyone's goal in that club is to
Yeah.
improve their body in one way or another.
Yeah, and Mob he wants to be physically stronger, but it's more he becomes mentally stronger.
Exactly.
Well, I already spoiled that Reigen's my favorite character. Which probably
Yeah,
doesn't come to a big shock to anybody.
it doesn't really. I mean, makes sense.
I'm torn between his arc, where he's getting the separate ways one where he gets exposed, or Megami, as my favorite arc. I'm really like really thinking about it. I really liked Separate Ways because of what it does for Reigen as a character. But I think Megami is my favorite arc in the whole series just because of how harsh it is and how out of like left field it is for Mob, and the way it concludes just feels very like I don't know. I think it's my favorite arc, really thinking about it. Just the sudden juxtaposition of suddenly this like semi lighthearted this series, this is how I'll phrase it. If a normal arc of Mob Psycho is a mixed bag of like gags and seriousness, then out of all of the arcs of Mob Psycho, the Mogami arc is the slapping of like cold water seriousness in the entire thing. Um the question mark fills that role too, but that one makes more sense because it's like wrapping the whole series up. This one really comes out of nowhere, like with the foreshadowing, obviously, of the urban legend stuff. But I don't know. I really really liked it. I remember watching it too, like when season 2 was coming out, and it was like the first time experiencing like after watching all of season 1 and expecting more of that, and then we got the Mogami stuff. It was like, oh, shit gets real in this world. I don't know. It was awesome. I love it.
All very valid.
Um, well, we've been much like Reagan have been hiding something from everybody, and I think it's about time we exposed it. What do you guys say?
We don't have
We actually have no clue what we're
sponsors.
talking about. We did not
Yeah,
even
we've
read
never
the
read
manga.
yeah, we haven't read a single. That's why we're on the
Yeah,
wiki actually.
exactly. We've only read the wikis for all of the mangas.
Yeah,
We haven't actually
yeah.
read the
We only
the
read
content.
like a panel of Awashi. Said
I mean,
yawn. Go
that's
next.
basically what I did, but
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I enjoyed it, but I don't know.
Um, no, we're kidding. We read Mob, but There is something we've been holding out on. We have
Can
already
I say it?
spun the.
Oh,
No, Jay, you can say it.
Yeah,
Nate will
I'll cut
edit
that
that
out.
out. Edit it
No,
out. Edit
it's
it out.
edited out. Go, Jay.
all right.
This one's you.
So at the end of the last episode, let's just say we kind of we've been really excited for the next one, and we may or may not have decided to spin it early.
We spun the wheel, baby. Play
And
them.
just play the clip.
Okay.
Roll the tape.
Hello, we are coming from the distant past. We just had a session where we were showing Jay some of the Mob Psycho anime stuff, and we decided we're gonna have a little bit of extra time before we record the next part of Mob Psycho, so we might as well get a little bit of a head start on the next book club. As per usual, is there any additions we'd like to add, lads? I think this is a pretty comprehensive list so
Yeah.
far. But
Yeah, I think
None that
we're
I
good
can
on
think of.
this. 20. I think we should try to narrow it down to like 20 before we start adding more.
yeah, fair.
Did you take
Did
out
you
Mob
take Mob
Psycho?
off?
Yeah, Mob's off of this. I don't see it anywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, as we roll it. All right, spin the wheel. One piece, one piece, one piece, one piece, one piece.
Oh my
Oh,
No
god.
yes!
fucking way! No way!
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yes!
It was fate!
That's crazy. I can't believe I'm gonna have to.
Dude,
No,
I
was telling
jumped out of my
Logan
seat.
earlier. I was looking through and I was like, oh, if we get one, when we get One Piece, I'm gonna read this one, because there's a version of it where someone went in and they colored all the panels.
Oh my god, yeah,
There's like a
dude.
colored version of it, so I'm gonna read that version of it.
Okay, so unlike Aoashi, this one we can pretty easily segment up into. Also, I assume there's no veto here. We're all down to read One Piece.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
I jumped out of my chair.
Yo, same, dude. I walked over to my bed and
I
was
was
like,
sitting the entire time.
oh my god.
But I am down to read
It's
it.
because you're not. It's because me and Jay have seen One Piece. That's the problem. One Piece, baby! We did it! It's Luffy time!
Yeah, that's right.
I hope
I
I matched
read-
my energy in that clip because I remember getting so excited.
I was so high.
I think you guys, both of your mics peaked while I was going. Oh, okay. But I could be remembering.
Like, looking back at it, it didn't seem like you were too
Yeah, you weren't too
enthusiastic about
enthused,
it.
but
Well, me, I'm like, okay, so here's my thing. I actually said this to Devin. It was either Devin or Brian, but I said this to one of our friends, and I was like, I remember it was Brian today. I know what happens in One Piece because obviously it's like the biggest thing on the internet when anything happens in that show nowadays. And I know some story beats from conversations with Nate and Devin about it previously. So I have seen stuff about it, but I think in some stories it works better to know the major ending, or like not ending, but the giant plot point, and it makes you want to read what happened to lead up to that point. And that rings true to One Piece because, spoiler alert, the One Piece is real and Luffy
Okay.
fucking destroys it in front of everybody. I've seen that. I know that happens. So,
well,
you know,
not to
I
crush
know the
your
whole
dreams,
thing.
but that was from a movie, and that's not what that was.
What?
Yep. Oh, he's going in blind, baby.
Well, so that's not canonical?
So you're thinking of God, you don't even know this yet. So I don't know if I want to explain what that was.
I've
Is
read
it-
it now.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain to you what it is he breaks because that's a pretty big thing in the story. That's like a pretty big development, but I will say it was something that was supposed to tell everyone where it was that wasn't the One Piece itself.
Oh, okay. Then
Um,
so that's why the series is still going. I get
yeah.
it now. Okay.
Also, that was a movie. That was at the end of Stampede. That was not canon.
Okay. I got you.
That being said, you think you know One Piece and you think you know all these things about it, which is fine because I also, prior to watching and reading One Piece, thought the same thing. Like when I played through the Pirate Warrior games, Pirate Warriors was like my first real experience with One Piece in the story. There is so much world building and character development and like flavor to every page of One Piece that you simply don't get in any other form of intaking the story. Like, oh man, I'm so happy you're finally reading it because the way Oda writes is so fucking genius. There
I
will
mean, I
be
already
things
figured it out. I read the first 2 chapters, and
you're okay. You're two
Shanks is
chapters in.
already like my favorite character.
Oh,
Who was
So
your favorite character?
Shanks.
Shanks. Yeah,
Nice.
that makes sense.
I mean,
Where does chapter 2 leave off? Does he fight
it was after
Alvida yet?
he defeats
Okay,
out whatever, and then he's like, "Get this
whatever.
kid a fucking dinghy. He's gonna join the navy." And everyone's like, "Oh, yes, sir."
Yeah.
That's basically the end of chapter
Oh,
2.
yeah. I'm so excited, man, because I can't wait to talk. Because there's so even with just those 2 chapters, the amount that Oda sets up for the rest of One Piece and for things that come later are crazy. He is the master of foreshadowing. Because you will get people for years. It has been a thing of people being like, "Oh, you can skip this," or "That's not important. Don't worry about it." And then it later on, like years later, it's like, "Nope, you shouldn't have skipped that because that was a major plot revelation that we should have already
Yeah,
known happened."
like
Gotcha.
like watching the anime, I looked up like what's some filler just for me to skip, and there's like a couple episodes like here and there. But like yeah, I'm the type of person like if it's like one episode, like I'm not gonna skip it. Like it's one episode.
Yeah, One
But
Piece
it was
just
like
doesn't really.
but I forgot where I saw it. But people were saying that I could skip um Skypea.
Yep, that
And
was
I'm
a
looking, I'm
take.
like,
That was a take
and then
a
like I
lot of
asked
people
around, and I was
had
like,
for a long time.
I asked around, they're like, no, just watch Skypea.
Yeah, and then we just recently, like within the last couple years in the manga, got like we I don't want to say we got like the complete fulfillment of setup from Skypea, but it became very obvious that Skypea was super important and that we should like people who skipped it totally were like missing information in context for what was going on. So I buckle in. This one's gonna be one hell of a ride. I think we say it in the video, but we're going to the end of Arlong Park for sure. So the end of East Blue. Um, so I guess I don't even want to say what happens in this like saga of One Piece because I don't want to spoil it for Logue. But we get like we get like the base crew going. A lot of early One Piece is like getting the gang together.
Mhm.
Um, so especially for East Blue, that is what the majority of it is going to be. And then by the end of Arlong Park, we're gonna get a sense of like the scale and the emotional depth that Oda's willing to go to. And we'll see from there whether or not we want to continue on to Drum Island and Alabasta. I guess, sorry, I think Whiskey Peak. No. Where's Whiskey? Hold on. Now I actually gotta. I think I'm thinking a Little Garden. Is
It
where those
goes
two characters are from, right?
after
Okay. Don't spoil anything, but like the
after
two
East
the two
Blue
guys.
is Alabasta.
Well, it's
Oh, the
definitely
saga. And then it goes Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, Drum
Reverse
Islands,
Mountain, Whiskey Peak. Yep. Okay, there we go. Little
Lo-
Garden, Drum Island,
Drum
and then
Island,
Alabasta.
Alabasta.
We'll call that Alabasta section Baroque Works. So after Arlong Park ends and East Blue is over, we're going into the Baroque Work saga.
What's the actual name of it is Alabasta.
They just call it Alabasta Fair.
Yeah, they called it
A lot of
Alabasta.
other stuff happens though. They're not just in Alabasta.
Yeah,
So
but it's the whole the build up.
Yeah, fair.
Because
It
the
is the build up for
Alabasta
Alabasta.
arc.
Agreed. Alabasta is like the Arlong Park of that
Yeah.
saga for sure.
So, like in the anime, I'm in Sky Island Saga. I'm ready in Sky Islands.
Hmm. And I am 100%
I'm on the
caught up on everything.
I'm on the Skypiea arc. That's what it is.
I have read so the only things I watched all of the anime up until I want to say Whole Cake, at the end of Whole Cake, and then this is more for the viewer at this point. And then I've seen clips from Wano and I have read all of the ending of Wano, but I'm missing some parts in the middle, like specifically some of the start of Onigashima. I never went back and read or watched just because I got so much osmosis through the internet and through the card game that I was just like, okay, I feel like I know what happens. I don't really need to catch up with this. I will obviously have to, and I probably will through our read through, but outside of that, after getting to the end of Whole Cake and like skimming through Wano, I have gotten to the point where I am now fully caught up in the manga of One Piece. Like I've read everything. I don't even want to say where we're at in the manga right now because that is a spoiler. So buckle in. We've got a lot of One Piece to go, and I have a feeling this one I can totally see, like I said in the video, that we may be taking breaks, but I this one's gonna be a finished one. I
I think so.
knowing Logue, I don't think we ever take the breaks on this one. I think he's gonna really really dig it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, I can just hear we are playing in the back of my head now. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Mom Psycho was awesome. Onwards to new seas.
Time for peak.
Time for peak.
Peak
Peak
2.0.
fiction incoming.
Peak piece. See you later. Have a
Have a good
Have a
good.
good